Pardon me. Whoop. Woo! I made it! Sorry I'm late, guys. I'm Margot Jordan, your All Ears host, and today's video is all about how to avoid crowds at Walt Disney World. Without a doubt, Walt Disney World is more popular than ever, with crowd levels remaining high almost year-round. But we've got the secret to avoiding the crowds. Want in? But first, what's the magic word?
Please?
Good guess, but try again.
Mickey Mouse!
That's it! Time to spill the beans.
1 can of beans coming up for you, Margot.
No, Great Grams.
I thought you said you wanted beans, dear. Oh well.
Great Grams. Anyways, here's 8 ways to dodge the people pods. Tip number 1, make rope drop. Making rope drop at Disney World parks is a great way to get a jump start on the crowds. Rope drop means being at the park right as the park opens. Guests are often allowed into the main thoroughfare of a park right up to a rope held by cast members. Oftentimes, rope drop happens before the official park opening, so make sure you're there about 30 minutes ahead of time. You can get ahead of the crowds who've slept in or prefer to begin their days later, which translates to shorter lines that often keep moving all the way up to the loading zone. Rope drop doesn't necessarily mean that you won't face any lines. Popular rides are still popular at rope drop, but you can significantly reduce the time you have to wait and evade the massive midday crowds. Tip number 2, presenting the midday break. If you want to avoid the worst of the day's crowds and get a chance to cool off during the hottest period of the day, take a midday break at your resort. Shower, snooze, swim, or snack. Whatever you do, you'll get a break from the crowds and whip up your second wind. If you're a night owl, you might also find smaller park crowds in the final hours of the day. But you have to avoid the crowds gathering for nighttime shows, or watch them from alternate locations. For example, watching Happily Ever After at Magic Kingdom on Main Street, USA can be overwhelmingly crowded. But you can still enjoy the fireworks, though not the projections, from the side rear of Cinderella's castle, or even on a ride like Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. If you've already seen the show, rides will have much shorter lines during the fireworks. This brings us to number 3, reserve a dessert party. To really dodge the crowds and have a special experience watching the nighttime shows, opt to reserve a dessert party. Happily Ever After at Magic Kingdom and Illuminations or Epcot Forever at Epcot are popular dessert parties that feature tasty treats, a relaxed atmosphere, and designated viewing spots. Number 4, to avoid crowded Disney transportation, take your time making your way to the bus station after the park is closed. Buses run for 2 whole hours after park closing, so technically you can stroll slowly down Main Street, USA, or around the World Showcase before stepping aboard. Number 5, attend a hard-ticketed event like Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party or Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party at Magic Kingdom. These events are limited to a certain number of guests, and if you attend, you'll likely find lower crowd levels. If you aren't visiting during a holiday season, Disney also offers early morning magic and after-hours hard-ticketed events that occur year-round on select days. Number 6, go during a slower season. There are some seasons at Disney that are less crowded than others. School breaks are typically hectic, so you'll want to avoid those at all costs if you're anti-crowd. These include spring break, which is March through late April, Thanksgiving week, and winter break. Summer break is often pretty busy, but the heat keeps some people away. If you do go during the summer, stay hydrated and don't forget that sunblock. Some specifically quieter, less crowded times are in the earliest months of the year. January is typically an optimal time to visit, with the busiest January dates being the first couple of days, the long Martin Luther King weekend, and Marathon weekend. February is also a great time to visit, and if you're heat averse, January and February typically tend to be much more comfortable. In February, avoid the week of vacation that some schools have during this time of the year. It's usually the 3rd full week of the month. In the past, it was usually a bright idea to visit Walt Disney World in late August, right as school starts up, and early September. But this year is special. Star Wars Galaxy's Edge opens on August 29th, 2019, and Disney World is expected to be very busy for several weeks and months after that. Are you excited about the new Star Wars edition? Let us know in the comments. Tip number 7, eat at off times. Early or late lunches and dinners are the way to go. We also suggest making a table service advanced dining reservation so you don't have to fend off the crowds for a table. If your resort hotel pool is crowded during your afternoon break, consider using your resort's quiet pool if it has one. These quiet pools typically don't have slides or activities, hence why they're more serene. Got a crowded resort food court? Consider picking up a quiet bite to eat in the grab-and-go or pastry cases rather than waiting in line for a hot meal. If your resort offers outdoor seating, you may find a more peaceful dining experience there if you don't mind the temperature. Tip number 8, go on a weekday. No matter what time of year you visit, weekend crowds will always be larger than weekday crowds because locals tend to visit on weekends and nights, thus swelling park numbers. To avoid these larger crowds, spend your time in the parks on weekdays and watch out for long weekends too. Can you think of any other ways to escape the crowds? Tell us in the comments below, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button while you're at it. We hope this video was super helpful. I'm Margot Jordan with All Ears, and I'll catch you next time.